Okay.
Happy Halloween, everyone. It's great to see you here. This is our last time here for this year, and the remainder of the year, we will be at Capitol Plaza, except for social, so. And with that, we are going to sing America. And Larry's going to start.
How does it start?
My country?
My country, 'tis a beach sweet land of liberty, of thee I sing. Land where my fathers died, land of the pilgrim's pride, from every mountainside, let freedom reign.
Thank you all. And now we will ask Kathleen Marker to introduce our guests and to make a few comments.
Good afternoon. We have a couple of guests. Michael Britton, who is a guest of Lee Morris.
Hi, Mike.
We also have Count Chocula, Dracula,
Right there.
and Cruella de Vil. And let's not forget anyone else. Hi, Minnie. So I want to make a quick announcement and give everybody an update on the YWCA Center for Safety Empowerment's Human Trafficking Day Center. So we are going to be having an open house, and you all are going to be invited, and I'm going to give you a couple of things, so you might want to have some mental notes about this, but we're also going to have some sign-up sheets if you are interested in volunteering, and there are going to be several volunteer opportunities. So the Rotarians and their families are invited to the open house ribbon cutting that we're going to be doing on November 22nd. And it will be from 2 to 5 o'clock. So obviously the ribbon cutting will be at 2, but if you can't make it at 2 and you want to come at 4 or 4:30, we will be there giving tours. The address is 1309 Huntoon, Southwest Huntoon. Grace Med has graciously offered to let us use their parking lot with the caveat that please park on the west side near Huntoon and Lane so that their patients and clients can park near the front of their facility, but that will help us with some of the parking requirements there. We do have a list of items that are still needed for the day center. These do not have to be new items. We've got a list that I think that Allison has back here. She's circulating it. So if there's something that you would like to donate that's on that list that you have in your home or that you just want to donate to us, just write it down on there. You can bring it to the YWCA. We will get it over to the day center when we're ready to get everything stocked. And then the last thing I want to say is we have opportunities. As you know, our foundation for this club was the seed money for this day center. And then in addition, we have funding from our district, from the South Topeka Rotary Group, and then finally a global grant. As a part of that global grant, we need Rotarians who will volunteer for us. So you can volunteer on the day of the open house if you want to help just with the reception, so serving cookies and drinks. There's a sign-up sheet for that as well. And then if you or someone in your family, particularly folks with social work backgrounds, are interested in volunteering, you do have to go through about 16 hours of training, and it's done on a couple of Saturdays. And volunteers would never be there by themselves. They would always be there with a YWCA staff person. We will soon have a volunteer coordinator that will make sure that she tracks the schedule of those folks. It's someone who is also a contributor to this wonderful project, but she is actually probably going to be our volunteer coordinator as well. So we really appreciate all of the support for this. If you have any questions, feel free to contact me, send me an email. I'm happy to answer any questions. And we hope to see you all. We know that our Attorney General will be there at the open house at the ribbon cutting ceremony, and a lot of other folks in the community, and we'd love to see a good turnout from our Rotarians here. Thank you.
Thank you, Kathleen. It's exciting to watch an idea grow and bloom. So, congratulations. This is the first announcement for our 2021 Board of Directors. This week we announce the slate. Next week we will announce the slate and ask for nominations from the floor. And then on November 14th, we will vote for the officers for 19, 20, 21. I will remind you that at that meeting, when we vote for them, we need a quorum. That means we probably need half again, maybe a few more members to attend that meeting. So I'm asking each of you to bring another Rotarian member with you for November 14th. There will be a lot of things happening at that meeting, and we'll have surprises and prizes, so you'll want to be there. So this is the first announcement. For officers, Stan Martindale, President. Marie Pico, President-elect. Steve Knoll, Vice President. Deborah Ricks, Treasurer. Carol Jordan, Secretary. And Ross Cobb, Sergeant of Arms. Board members at large. The nominees are Cody Frederickson, Colleen Jameson, and Allison Marker. For the Topeka Rotary Foundation, first-term nominee is Todd Payne, and second-term nominations are Trey George and Lon Lewis. So I think we have a good slate there. We'll be open for suggestions next week. And I look forward to you and one of your Rotary buddies here for the following week. Thank you very much. We also have a proposed new member, 10-day waiting period, who is Irene Caballero. She's a Spanish professional consulting company of her own. And I met her through Kansas leadership classes. So Rotary once again has a special grant to attend those classes, and I encourage you, if you're interested, to contact Yana Ross, who can help connect with the leadership classes. In our Making a Difference, and congratulations. I know some of you are aware of this, but not all. I'm very sad to share with you the passing of Andy Chandler just this past Tuesday. Andy was chairperson and CEO of Fidelity State Bank and Trust, an active participant of the Boy Scouts, and a member of our Rotary for almost 40 years. Our club will have a special remembrance for him November 21st, I believe. So our sympathy goes to Andy, his colleagues at Fidelity State Bank, and his family. Also, a passing that slipped by me was a retired member of our club, John Arnold. He passed away unexpectedly October 4th. He was a committed public administrator in Topeka. And I don't know, do you have his old job? Or he had a different position?
It was a different job.
Yeah, okay. On a brighter note, 2 weeks ago here, the first Rotary blood drive was a great success with a donation of 17 pints of blood. And a special thank you to Wayne Pancos for taking the lead. So I thought that was just a wonderful accomplishment. Then, last week, we raised $19,750 for Polio Plus, with a 2-to-1 match from the Melinda and Bill Gates Foundation. So that equals almost $60,000. Quite an accomplishment. We have a relatively new member. I don't see him here today. Jacob Wamigo was a transfer from South Rotary, and he will be speaking at Wake Up Washburn on November 7th, 7:30 at the Bradbury Thompson Alumni Center. And he will be talking about economic development in Indian country, native Indian country. And I think he is an outstanding speaker and had a good presentation if any of you are interested in attending that. Lastly, there are 12 exchange students from Chiba, is that how you say that? Chiba University of Commerce from Japan. And at Thanksgiving, they look for families for these students to celebrate our Thanksgiving experience, for them to see what we do and how we do it. So if you would like to sponsor a student in your home, Katie Brown's the person to talk to. This is our last week for our October charity, TPAC, Topeka Daycare Center. A couple weeks ago, you learned about it, and so dig deep for that. And with that, Marie will introduce our guest speaker.
Good afternoon, everybody. It is my great honor to introduce Eric Maydew. He has been with the Big Brothers Big Sisters for 3 years. He's originally from Denver, born and raised. He's living in Topeka for the last 10 years. He has a 2.5-year-old Easton who, if you see him in the neighborhood, he's going to be a Ninja Turtle this evening. So you better watch out. Eric is for a very short term, a former professional baseball player. He was in the minor league in Arizona. I am really pleased to announce that he was named for this year's 20 under 40. So please welcome Eric Maydew.
Thank you very much. If you can't hear me, I think we'll get there. But thank you for that introduction. A few more factoids. I am a Topeka South Rotary member, so we work together, but not together. I have a lot of different projects. So it's really nice to be able to come in here and talk to you guys a little bit about our program. I'm certain I see a lot of familiar faces. I'm certain a lot of you have some of the facts about our program. A lot of things have changed over our century-plus span of time that we've been around. Right? How are you? You've heard this before, so if you want to take a nap, that'll be. And so I really want to just bring some of those to the forefront on who it is we serve, what it is we do, and maybe fill in some of those cracks that you might not know about our program, especially here in Topeka. So is everybody okay with me walking? I know we've got a camera up here, but I'm not a voting guy. Yeah. Hopefully the mic will move with me. So before I get started, how many have been a big, know a big, or might want to be a big? Raymond, you better raise your hand. Right? Yeah. So we've had a few. I'm happy to, anybody a current big right now besides Raina? So Raina's with KSNT, right? She became a big this year with us. So I always like to ask that just because, like I said, we've been around for over 100 years. Originally we started in New York, is where our headquarters were. We're now headquartered in Florida, so apparently they got tired of the cold weather when it's south. We have over 250 affiliates nationwide, Kansas being top 5 in terms of children served, which is pretty incredible when you think about some of the population sizes we're going against. Florida, for one, is a pretty big one. New York, California, El Paso, some of the biggest states, the biggest states in the country, and we're right there with them. So those are just some of the facts that you'll see throughout this presentation. There are some things that I left out. I always love the Q&A part of things, so please, if you have questions, jot them down. Be sure to ask them at the end. That said, let's make sure my clicker works. Perfect. So if you're not familiar with our mission or our vision, to provide children facing adversity with strong and enduring professionally supported one-to-one relationships that change their lives for the better forever. The most important part, how many parents do I have in here? Lots. Okay, I think we'd all agree on this, that all children achieve success in life, right? Okay, so that's a pretty good vision, one that I think we all support. Okay, so a little bit about us. I may have mentioned some of that. We're affiliated with Big Brothers Big Sisters of America. I told you that. But 5 largest, I mentioned that, and I'm going to say it again. How we got to that point is last year we served nearly 3,000 youth. Fantastic number, big number. But the scary part is we've identified over 50,000 kids qualify for our program in the state of Kansas alone, which is astonishing. And I'll talk about how we identify those kids here in just a minute. Okay, so who we serve. This is probably the most important factor that's really changed and evolved over time. When you've been around for that many years, naturally as a community, we're going to evolve, we're going to change. I think we all agree that it's changing as we look at it right now with technology. You know, mentorship itself isn't the same it was even 5 years ago, 10 years ago. But some of the kids that we serve, so 33% of our littles live outside of their home, 1 in 3. The majority of them are living with other family, DCF, things like that, which is kind of scary. One thing that we know in childhood, especially early childhood development, is stability, right? And that's one very unstable component. 30% have a total household income of $15,000 or less. And this is multiple kids in their household. Typically single moms, single parent homes, that's another big statistic of ours. 43% report some type of abuse. That can be verbal, that can be sexual, that can be a number of different types of abuse. One of the most common ones is probably neglect, right? A form of emotional abuse. 53% report problems at school. Okay, so a lot of that's probably stemming from some of those earlier inconsistencies that they're getting in their life. 41% have one family member that has had contact with law enforcement. So forgive me if I jump around a little bit. This tends to jog my memory as I work through this presentation. So we have a program called Bigs and Blues. Anybody heard of that? It's relatively new. So this came out about 2.5 years ago from National, and essentially all we do is we match some of our kids with local law enforcement, and you can see where that's pretty helpful to that last bullet point there, right? So the reason I think a lot of these kids are having issues with law enforcement, not necessarily because they themselves are the problem, but they're seeing those around them running into issues with law enforcement, and automatically they have a negative view of law enforcement, right? So we're trying to change that conversation. We'll work very closely with the sheriff and chief to make sure that we get that stick moving in the right way. Okay. Some of our results. After being matched with a big, this is pretty incredible. And it's funny because we were just talking about voting up here. 78% are more likely to vote in elections when paired with a mentor. That's crazy. Okay, and opposite, right? We were just talking about that. 76% learn right from wrong. I mean, some of us, I think, probably take that for granted. But it's fundamental. It's early childhood development. 90% made them feel better about themselves, so it would appear we're getting cut off there on the slides. My apologies. One thing we know about our kids is a majority of them are antisocial or exhibit antisocial behavior. Okay, they don't do well in groups, not an issue, and that's where the one-to-one thing comes in. Okay, so getting their self-esteem up and their confidence up to where they can do those kinds of things. And interact in social environments, they've got to be able to do it as they become young adults. Okay, and then 52% kept them from dropping out of high school. Big one. Okay, Kansas continues to struggle with high school dropout rates. That's one thing that we are really trying to kind of crack down on. We tend to lose a lot of our kids in our program right around 14, 15 years old. When we're 14, 15, we become a little bit too cool, right? I don't want to be seen with that old person. Right? That's what we get a lot. But what we are doing is we actually extended our program out to the age of 25 that you can stay within our organization, and we will check in with big and little We always took that to 18 years old, but you're really not getting the full story at 18. How did they end up in college? Did they go to college? Did they graduate high school? We just had an event on Friday, and it was funny. We do it at an air hangar, and a gentleman and another young man, he wasn't even young at this point, walk into our event because they chartered a flight through here. And they kind of asked some questions. They said, what's this fundraiser for? We explained that we were big brothers, big sisters. Turns out they were matched 47 years ago. And they were flying together. Still to this day, almost 50 years they've been together. It's great. Okay. I don't know why it's doing that. Forgive me. It's usually not cut off. It might be something going on over here. But why we serve? So the obvious things. Youth are less likely to skip school, be involved with violence, drug and alcohol abuse, or negative cycles. That's a big one that we talk about, is breaking down negative cycles. Again, it goes back to that environment, their immediate bubble, what they're surrounded by, and getting out of that, removing them from that so they can see what other options are out there. Okay? They're more likely to improve academic performance, self-esteem, we talked about that a little bit, talked about college a little bit, and then hold down a livable wage by the age of 25. And that was one of the big driving factors when we decided to move from 18 to 25 in terms of tracking where our levels are going. Okay, so a big's role. Oftentimes, we get a lot of people that are interested in becoming big. I want to help kid. What goes into it? Any guesses on the number one reason why people don't become a big? Anybody? Brian? Time. Especially today, right? It just feels like we keep getting busier and busier and busier. And so we've had to adapt our model a little bit in that regard to make sure that, one, mentorship is still effective, but it's still attainable on the volunteer side of things. But part of that role, depending on the program, you initiate the lead of development. You are a friend, not an authoritative type person whatsoever. You're not there to tell them the rules, this is how you do it. It's simply being somebody they can rely on. Okay? Positive role model. Okay, so ignore the top part, so I'll get you through this. That really bothered me, I'm sorry. Okay, so community-based, that's our first program that most of you are probably aware of, and we're most well known for. Essentially, that's where volunteer and child can go fishing, they can go to movies, do things they enjoy. Hobby-based type things, a little bit more flexibility. Okay, we also have one that I think a lot of people know as, it's Bigs in Schools, been known as Reading Buddies throughout the years, Lunch Buddies, all kinds of different titles that have gone with this. But Bigs in Schools is just simply volunteer goes to school, has lunch with little once a week. Okay, so we talked about time. This is a great way to start into the program. Okay. Corporate Bigs. So this one's probably my favorite. It's relatively new. It's not done across the nation. It is done in certain communities, but it's not like our Bigs Blue program. So corporate Bigs, what that is we take this site-based model, okay, but we invert it. So we take 8 kids from, I'll just give you a working example, Williams Elementary, Williams Magnet. Okay, so we take 8 kids from there. We take them over to Evergy once a week. From 4 to 5, they execute a 9-month curriculum that we built ahead of time with these Bigs. That curriculum is in STEM-based material. Obviously, Evergy is pretty STEM-based. They're doing anything from learning how to build a drone to inspecting bridges, wind, solar, all types of different energy. And they were 4th graders when we started, right? Pretty young. And it's a 2-year curriculum. I think we're on year 6 right now with Evergy. So they do that through their 4th and 5th grade years. They then graduate out. We find 8 new littles, 8 new bigs, and we do it again. Okay. So while I wish I could do 40 or 50 kids at once in this program, you can imagine 40 or 50 4th graders in one room. I'm not a teacher. But that's, we have that working relationship with Evergy. We have it with BNSF. We're in our second year with those guys. That's been incredible. They had a chance to do a train simulator. Most civilians don't even get to see these things. And they got a chance to see what it was like to drive a train. And then we hope to break ground. I don't want to mention it just yet, but I will. With Stormont, if anybody has any pull there, tell Amy we're hoping for it. But that's one of my favorites. So it's that's a little bit of a hybrid of kind of all of it, with a little bit more focus. Like I said, it's STEM-based, and medical field is our role. And then you have, I think I skipped one there. Got a plus match again. So this one, you're going to meet at school while school is in. When school is not in, then you have community-based is where you would go throughout the summer. So that can be helpful for people that might work legislative session. You got people in here that specialize in session. Oh man, lucky. But that's, that's a January through June. That's gonna be a pretty tough time period to be taking extra time. But July through December becomes a little bit easier. So that one has a little bit more flexibility in that regard too. So those are the three. What goes into becoming a mentor? So we get this a lot, naturally, because child safety is the #1 in our book, right? If it's not built around child safety, then we got to take a look at it. But application and pre-interview process, references, criminal background checks. We do run checks every 3 years, and that's on current and new. And then we do a home visit depending on the type of program. So I always say, if you've got your dad's shotgun hanging over the mantle, we got to know about it, right? All those kinds of things. Okay, so ways you can help. There's a number of ways that folks can help. When I say this at events, everybody thinks that they have to give $100, $2,500, $25,000 to make an impact on a kid's life. It's actually completely false. Every dollar matters, yes, don't get me wrong. But it can be something as simple as sharing a post. Everybody's probably heard that on social media now, right? We just kind of scroll through things we don't like and we don't share them, when really they help. Attend an event. We've got events across all areas, and so if I failed to mention earlier, currently I am over Lawrence, Topeka, and Ottawa, so kind of a big area. So if you live maybe in Lawrence, work here, or vice versa, there is something going on with Big Brothers Big Sisters no matter where you go. So you can attend a special event, fund a match or sponsor a match, refer a big, that's a big one, okay? Especially men, it's clubs, what? About half and half, there's a lot of men in this room. Any guess on what our wait list is made up most of? Boys or girls? Boys. Okay, so we do need more males in our program. So if you're interested, please get with me and I'll get you some information by the end. And then, almost done on time, right? Okay, do we have 3 minutes? 2 minutes? Okay, let's see if this works. I got a little video for you guys.
Do you think you know some of the challenges that kids have? Until you get involved and start talking about things? There were several Kodak moments that were somewhat life-changing in terms of my thought, my perspective about how all things fit together. That's why I'm a big supporter of Big Brothers and Big Sisters, because I think there's much you can do where you can impact someone's life as much as you can if you're a big.
The goal of Big Brothers Big Sisters is to break cycles and to break them down to their very form and what exactly is going on at the roots. A number of our kids are facing issues that most of us can't imagine. I think that getting engaged with our youth is just step one to better all communities.
Kids are our future. In my daily activities as sheriff here, I try to focus on something that will benefit the youth of our community. I'm trying to put myself out of a job.
I was matched with Jack in 2010, and I've been with him ever since. We both understand there's this organization over here that has some oversight on what we're doing, but we're way beyond that. He's part of the fabric of who I am, and I think I'm part of the fabric of who he is.
just feels good to have someone to trust outside of your blood. And he's just great to be around every single minute of every single time I'm with him.
We watch movies, we just hang out.
We watch movies, we hang out.
We play ping pong, and he still can't beat me in ping pong. He thinks he can.
I let him beat me most of the time.
He can't hear me, can he? He's a really good basketball player now.
I know he'll never admit it, but I beat him a good amount of the time. That's not even in the rim, dude.
He's come from donuts with Dad to Ron being there for him when he went to his first formal dance. It's a big span there. He's thinking broader as to what he would like to do. He's plotting out his life.
It doesn't seem hard to me anymore to be successful because he has fun doing it. If you find that career and you get the education, it doesn't seem hard to me. I don't know where I would be without him.
If you want to change someone's life, you can be a big. That's really what it boils down to.
I don't know how you can be involved in this program and not feel good.
You know, it takes a village to raise a kid. Big Brothers Big Sisters is just part of those footsteps that lead that child off into the future.
I'm the one that's blessed. I'm the one that is getting the most out of this. There's no question about it. He's like my son. I mean, I don't know what better way I could describe that.
He's like a father figure to me. It's the only way I can think of to describe him. He gave me a guideline of how to be a father, and so I'm going to remember that my whole life.
I'm glad I got one more soldier. Now we through with this. Thank you so much for making my son a part of your life. You helped create a better boy that's going to grow up and be a better man.
When you call me, I am listening.
All right, do we have 30 seconds for questions? I always leave things out. I'm really sorry. She's not gonna let me. If you have questions, I'll hang out. I'll be up here up front if you want some more information. Sorry, that was pretty quick or pretty long on my part.
It's my fault, I started too late.
Okay, keep riding me with the sandwich, it's okay. Thank you all for having me, I appreciate it, and again, I'll stick around if you have questions, so thank you.
Thank you, Eric. Before you go away, we do ask that our speaker sign this book and it will go to Ross Elementary School. I bet you have a few littles there. Also, I would like you to know that the Interfaith Thanksgiving Services has selected the Big Brothers Big Sisters as to be recipients of their free will giving. So that's on the Sunday before Thanksgiving, November 24th at 7 p.m. And so I encourage you all to attend that, and you'll get a twofer. You'll get a wonderful service, a meal, and you donate to Big Brothers and Big Sisters. As I shared with you at the beginning of the meeting, now, until the rest of the year, with an exception of a couple socials, we are at the Topeka Capitol Plaza Shawnee Room, and we're looking forward to the November 14th meeting, where we will not only elect our officers and review our finances, but we'll have a good program by Russ Cobb and Nicole Remenon, entitled Return to the Future. So it should be a fun day and meeting. And I also encourage you to bring some members to the meeting. We need 80 people, maybe a little bit more. That's twice what we have in the room right now. And with that, we will do the four-way test. The things we think, say, and do is the truth. Is fair to all concerned, will it build their friendships, will it be beneficial to all concerned, and will it be fun.